Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Bruno, and this is another build with me. So, I've been seeing around lately this game called Wordle, and basically, if you haven't seen it before, let me just see if I can just pull it up, I guess. So let's go Wordle. Okay. So, basically, you're given these, like, 6 chances. You get a 5-letter word, and you should just be able to get the word. Right, so let's say query here. So a green letter returned is basically a word that is a letter that is in the word and in the right place. A gray letter means that it's not in the word at all, and a yellowed out letter means that it's in the word someplace, but not where it is right now. So I wanted to try to recreate this. So let's see how we can do it. I'll probably only be doing a backend and maybe like a little bit of like in Postman, like we'll query the backend, see how it works. I won't go through building the front end. If you guys do want to see the front end, I could do that as another video, but I'm not really that great at front end development, so I figured let me just stick to the backend. I will throw this on GitHub as I normally do. So anyway, I guess let's break down what we would need as part of this, right? So, we need some kind of pojo, and that pojo will be the word that came in, right? So whatever word gets generated for the user. Actually, even before that. Okay, so let's make that number 2. 1, when a session starts, we're gonna pick a word and basically create a pojo. On that pojo, we'll have the word that we've chosen for that user. We will have their number of attempts, how many attempts they have left, and I think that's it for now. So how are we going to store that? I'm thinking that just for these purposes, right, if this was more of a production application, maybe we would use some Redis, something like that, even stored in a database. Probably a database wouldn't be the best way because it's something that won't be happening over a long period of time, right? A session should only last a few minutes. So I'm thinking we'll have a singleton bean, which will have some kind of like concurrent hash map in it. And that concurrent hash map will be the UUID that's given to that user when we start the session, and it'll store that pojo as the value. So when a session starts, pick a word, store in hash map. We're going to create a pojo here, which has the word itself, number of tries. Okay. Also, we should expose an API to the front end. 1B, let's say. Expose API for all the words. So there's 2 things that I've noticed with the current Wordle app that I wasn't too wild about. The first is that they basically store what the word the current answer for the game on the front end. And 2, they store every single possible word on the front end. I can understand storing every single possible word, but I probably wouldn't store what the answer is because that kind of ruins the fun of the game. So one thing we'll do is that the front end will pass us basically what the word is, and then we'll let them know whether it's right or wrong, rather than doing that all on the front end. Not really a huge deal, but it does kind of make the game a little bit more, I guess, removes the vulnerability. So expose API for all the words, then we have this pojo, then we obviously have expose API for guessing, right? So as the user guesses, we'll have an API and they can guess into it, and then we'll return them back the answer. So let's start building through this right now. Okay, so we'll have a service. We'll actually have a few services. So let's create a services package, or rather a service package. And the first one is, we'll call it, I guess, user game service, something like that. And then the second one will be available words service. So, or I don't like available words. Let's go with just words. Okay. So for the user game service, like I said, we're going to have here a concurrent hashmap. And the hashmap will be of, let's say, string and then some pojo here. So let's just call it objects for now. I'll change that and we'll call it user games. Okay. So we have this concurrent hashmap. And the reason why we're going to use concurrent hashmap here is I'm going to set this as a scope of singleton, right? So scope. Oh, that's why. Import class. So I'm going to set this as a scope, and the scope name will be singleton. Let me just see. It shouldn't load it. Let's see, singleton scope. This is not working. Scope name, scope's proxy mode. No. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so we're going to scope this as singleton, basically meaning that we're going to have one of these for the whole application. While everything else will just be request scoped. So we have this concurrent hash map, and we have two things. First is basically we're gonna abstract getting from this hash map, and we're gonna abstract I guess adding a new session to the hash map. So we'll have here void. Actually, I don't want to do a public void. We'll do public. We'll do void for now. Add game to data store. Yeah, something like that. And then actually let's create this game. So let's go here. Let's do new package, and then we'll do model package, and we'll create a user game, or no, just the game pojo, and the game will have a string, and that string will basically be word, and then we will also have. What else will we have? We have the maybe an integer here, and that integer will be current tries. Okay, and I think that's it for now. Generate a constructor, and let's do the getters and setters. Okay, perfect. All right, add game to data store. So this will be game. And add game to data store, and this will just take a game object. So game. I actually don't like that. Let's not make it take a game object. Let's just make it take a string, which is the new word. And then here we will, to user games, we will put some key, which will be a UUID, which we'll have to generate. So we'll use random UUID for that. And then the value will be a new game, and we'll have a word here, which I'll figure out, and then the current try is 0. And I've actually, let's do a string here, because we actually want to be able to return what the UUID is. So let's say string user key here, and then random UUID. Perfect. And we will have to is there string value on toString, is that going to give us what we want? Probably. Let's see how it overrides toString. If length is greater than 36, the string is too large. Otherwise, okay, yep, toString will do what we need. Okay, then here we'll throw in user key, and then we'll return the user key here. Now we have this game. So next we want to look into the word service. So for the word service, we have these list of words here, right? So we have this words.txt, and I just pulled 500 commonly used 5-letter words. So what we'll do here is, I feel like for the word service, we'll just have a post construct here. The post construct will say public void or private void load words, and here we'll have instead of string words. So when this gets constructed, we will go in here, and then so list of string words equals, and then we'll use file utils from Apache Commons, and then we'll say read lines, and then here we'll put new file, and for the we will get the where is it? Copy path, and we'll do path from content root here, and we'll take that, let's do a string, and then we'll do UTF-8. So just throw an exception on the method signature, and let's just say I should not reinstantiate this, so we'll say words, and perfect. And now here we'll have just a getter, which will be get the words. Perfect. So now we have our service called word service. We have words in the word service. Now here's the question: should the user game service be above the word service, or should the words be passed in from the controller? I think what we'll do is we'll have a controller and it'll have both. So that word gets passed in here. That'll give me a word. And now we have the game, which is created. We have their word, we have their current tries, and we have the key, which comes back, which will be kind of the user token for going through this whole game. So there's one vulnerability that I can see here, which is basically, I guess anyone could kind of jump in and play for someone else if they happen to guess the token, but I feel like that's a common issue with like JWT type tokens anyway. So I think it's okay. Let's make a controller now. We will make a package controller, and we'll call it Wordle controller. What is it? Spring Boot starter web to the class path. I actually have to add it to Maven. Let's add Spring Boot starter web to Maven. And import class. So we have a get mapping we'll have here, and that get mapping will be start game. And here we'll just do a public string because we want to return that token. Start game. We'll pass nothing in, and we're basically going to return that token. So let's auto wire in some properties. So we will need our user game service here, and we'll call that user game service in that. So we'll have a private user game service, and then we will also have a private word service. Perfect. Now let's generate a constructor, put all that in there, auto wire that in, and I think no beans of that type is found. Why? Oh, because I scoped it, but I did not make it a service. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So, start game. What is going to happen when we start a game? We should just return, and then we'll do user game service dot add game to data store, and then word service dot get. I don't want to get all words, so let's do a get. Let's actually name it get random words. So how are we going to decide what the random words? So we'll do words dot get, and then let's use that Java random equals new random, and random dot next integer, and for the bounds we'll pass words dot size. So we're going to get a random integer within words dot size, and we'll return that as our word here. We'll just return a string. Get random word. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So add game to data store, and we'll call word service that get random word in here. So on start game, we will create a game object. We'll throw it into this concurrent hash map, and we will get the random words. So let's try to start this up here, and let's do. Ooh, we have an issue. Temp was made to call a method does not exist. All-encompassing part converter. Is it calling methods class? Something with configuring. It doesn't like the Spring Web stuff. Doesn't like Spring Web. Oh, this is what it doesn't like. Let's remove that. And let's try this again. I might have to do a reload here on Palm Maven reload project. I think when I previously added it to my class path, I'm going to probably have an issue for a while now. Nope, we're good. Okay, so we have curl localhost 8080. Actually, I've always been wanting to try from here. Hopefully I should be keeping that. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so that's exactly what we wanted to see, right? So the session starts, and we now have this in our session, and if we go here, let's attach a debugger here. And on the debugger attach, let's go ahead and let's hit this again. All right, it's fine. Something I didn't like. Did it? I don't think it. No. Okay, 1 second. Let's do it this way. Okay, so here, I want to see what's in user games after we do this. So let's throw a little debug statement there. Let us restart this in debug mode. And let's curl localhost 8080. Oh, slash start game. So, yep, that works as we want. So we have this concurrent hash map. It does have that key. It has the word and it has their current tries. Perfect. So now, as we go forward, let's say, let's have a post mapping, and the post mapping will return two things. Oh, first, let's say post mapping, and let's say slash submit guess, something like that. And then we will have a we'll actually return a hash map here, because we're gonna return a hash map, and it'll have string, and then it's gonna be an enum, I guess. So let's make it an enum. So let's go down to model. Let's create an enum under class enum character value, something like that. Character value, I don't necessarily like character value, but let's say not present. So if it's not present at all, present or correct. Present but misplaced or correct. All right. So and what they were going to pass me is guess, and then they'll pass me a string, which will be guess. And so that should be okay. The only thing that we have to worry about is we shouldn't just return a map. So let's do one thing. Let's do a game response or guess response. Guess response. Perfect. Because there's one other thing that we want, right? We want to have current try, right? So we want to pass back the try so that if they reach their 6th try, we tell them, hey, listen, you're done. And maybe we'll actually return what the actual word is at that point. Word, but we won't populate that, and then we'll have our private hash map. Private map, and then we'll have string character value. Character value map. Let's do that. And then we will create constructors here, and because serialization is funny like that. And let's create actually a no arg constructor, just in case. And let's return that now. Guess response. So the user passes us in a guess. Now we have to do one of 3 things, and I feel like that might go under the word service still. No, we're not going to. We're going to keep that in the user game service. We have to check first, is this word flat out the correct word? In which case, everything is done. They're victorious. They've finished the game. Great for them. If that's not the case, right, then we will basically go to the next level. It's for each of these letters, is this letter in the word? If the letter is in the word, then we will mark it as basically correct but not right place. And then the third is for everything that's not one of those, we'll have to go ahead and say, okay, this isn't in the word at all. So let's start working through that. So let's go back to our user game service, and let's say public, and then I think this can already just be a guess response, and we'll say submit word, submit guess. Let's keep it the same thing. So we'll pass a word in here. Great. So first things first. Oh, there's more than just a word. We need to also string guess, and also you're going to have a user token. These will both make, I guess, request params here. So let's do string word and string user token. So first things first, let's get user games dot get user token, And actually, what we'll do is we'll wrap this in an optional .of and or else throw. And then we'll just make this a new runtime exception, and we'll just say session doesn't exist. That should all be good, and then we will so this, if you guys have never seen the syntax, this is just a super simple way of doing like kind of a one-liner checking if something's there. So we're basically taking this into an optional, and we're immediately trying to get from that optional, and if it's not there, we're just going to throw an exception saying that it doesn't exist. So now from here on out, we know we have a user game which is created. So great. So now we have this user game. What can we do with this user game? So from the user game, let's go ahead and get the current tries, and let's say if for some reason this is already greater than 5, right? We'll just throw also. Let's stick to an exception, and let's just say user game is finished already, something like that. And then yeah, let's keep this a runtime exception, and let's stick to that. And let's go ahead and so we've gone through these two kind of scenarios, right, where we wouldn't move forward. Now let's actually, I think what I want to do here is I want to, yeah, let's do this. Let's do user game, and then we'll do get word, and then let's call this request word actually for simplicity's sake. Okay, and if user word dot equals ignore case request word, that's kind of the easiest case, so we return new guest response. In the guest response, it would be let's just create a game status here as an enum. New Java class, and let's just call it game status. And let's say win, lose, in progress, something like that. Guest response, so game status, okay. And actually, let me add that to the constructor. Let me add a getter and setter for that. Okay. All right. So in the user game service, let's go to return new guest response. Right. The guest response is going to take a current try, which is user game dot what is the issue here? Let's try this again. So now it's fine. Okay. And then let's go in here. Let's say current try. What else do we have? A string. What's the string here? String is their word. this point request word should be correct because it equals, then game status will just say, and then we don't need anything there. Perfect. So if the word equals, we're good. Otherwise, let us go. And now this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated. We have to see if the words are in the correct spot. If they're not in the correct spot, we have to go ahead and put them in, find where the correct spot would be. Or rather, we don't need to find where the correct spot would be. We just need to find that, put that in the value map that they're not in the correct spot. Okay. So let's kind of figure out how we're going to do this. I mean, iteratively is probably the easiest way. So where we would just go one by one on the requested word, see if the actual word at that character is the same one. Otherwise, yeah. Okay. So let's see. So I think there's a caret here. So for I, int I equals 0, I is less than user word dot size. I mean, I guess it would always be 5, right? Oh, length. I plus plus. So if the user word that caret I is equal to the request word dot caret I, right? So if those are both equal, then let's create the character value map up here. So if that's equal, then we're going to say, okay, character value map dot put anyone is fine. User word dot caret I, and then the other one is character value. That's correct. Okay. And next we will say otherwise. Does user word dot contain contains and request word dot caret I. This is a char sequence. How can you just do one? I don't want to iterate one by one. String contains tab. Let's see. So they, yeah, but how do you? Such a silly thing. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that could work. Character toString and then calling this I. And if that's the case, then we're gonna say put use word caret I present but misplaced, and then else put user word I not present. Okay. And when we're all done with that, we have to do a few things. So we've already so here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we probably want to remove for this key because that game is no longer in progress. In this case, we want to, we've already updated the tries here, so place, and we'll put the user token, and we'll do the new user game. Awesome. And then we will return a new guest response, and in that guest response it will contain, let's see, current try. Here we won't put anything. In progress. And then here we will do, we have to return just this character value. And now that I realize guest response, we change this to character. So let's go ahead and do character here, and that should all be fine now. Okay. Let's see how that works now. Guest response should all be good. This is just the character. This is just the character. And then on the Wordle controller, we'll say user game service. Nope. User game service dot submit guess, and then we'll say guess and user token, and we'll do return. Okay. And then these are both going to be at request body, no, path variables. Path variable. Been a while since I worked on this REST API stuff. Let's see, path variable, and that here, path variable. But then we would have to say, no, it's not. Let's say request body. I think it's request body is automatically assumed, but let's just say from request body, submit guess, and let me just open Postman now. Okay, so let's start this app up. And actually, we just need something for the purposes of cheating here. We do need to because how are we going to test it if not? So, and then here we'll say word. Perfect. So let's run this out. So, first things first, let's start the game. Okay. Game was started, and the word is proof. So, let's do submit guess. And we have two things that we need to include in the body here. The first will be our user token. The second one being the guess. And for the guess, we'll do. This shouldn't work, but let's send it. Method not allowed. Post. Okay. Bad request. Require request body is missing. Guess response. Submit guess. Wait 1 second. Let me just remove this. You're gonna get an issue here, right? Because of that. Let's do request param. Okay. Params, let's say guess equals test. And user token is still this. Okay. Internal server error. Oh, we'll have to restart the app. Now it's not there. Right. Correct. Where are we? Slash start game. Get. Take this. Take that. Submit guess. Method not allowed. Post. Internal server. What's the issue here? String index out of range 4. String index out of range 4. Oh. This over here. I think this works on a 1 to no. Caret I. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Let's see. Start game. Get start game. Post. Guess. Our word is level. And string index out of range for what row? Yeah, user word dot caret I equals request word dot caret. Okay. When all else fails, attach debugger. For some reason, attach debugger isn't working. So let me debug the application. Stop and rerun. Okay, let's load it up with Debugger. Okay. So let's start game. Do is get guess. Perfect. That's fine. Okay. Guess. And their token. Okay, so, oh, yeah, didn't even get past the dispatcher server. Oh, well, yeah, that way. Oh, what's the issue here? Why is this coming no? Request word token word controller. Yes, and user token. So I guess. Did you start game here? Oh, I did. Okay. Oh, probably what it is I didn't use the right new. Submit guess. User token, and then guess. A method allowed. Alright, so debugger time. So current char is 1, okay. Okay. So let's make sure this is working how we want it to. What is Karen I? So that is an issue. Which makes sense. Oh, I'm breaking it myself. That was the issue. Let's restart this. I was breaking it by not having a proper word length. Which actually, that's a good question. We should add some validation around that. So, let's see. Start get request, and then guess user token. Change it to post. Okay. So, yeah. So we have to go based off request word here. Okay. Okay. And start get, and then submit yes. Key, sorry, token there, and then what is it? Guess. Yes. Let's do tiers. Post. Okay. Skip. Gotta turn breakpoints. Okay, so tiers. A is present but misplaced. R is present but misplaced. S is not present. T is not present. E is present but misplaced. Makes sense. The only thing that I don't like about this is it's using kind of... can I do a hashmap? This might better retain the thing. So let's see. Submit guess, no. Start game. As a get request. And post and submit game. Submit guess. User token. And yes. Let's say the answer is there, so let's do tiers. Send. Okay, perfect. So that makes most sense. So if I do vary, good. The only thing is, there we go. So there's two small issues, but not really big ones, where we have it's character mapping, so it's not matching the not correct values, or uppercase, lowercase, but that should be fine. That's not a big fix, and you have a win there. All right. Anyway, guys, so that's basically creating Wordle. So like I said, I'll post this online, but all in all, it does work. So this should support multiple users over multiple sessions. So the only thing that's really left here is to build the front end. If you guys want me to work on that, just let me know. I will go ahead and do that for the next video. Otherwise, let me know if you guys have anything that you want to watch me build next time. I've been a little rusty on the old Java, so it's good to kind of play around and mess around with it a little bit. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.